Good morning. It's me and my furry friend here, Scooby. No, just kidding. He's not my dog. But he does look like he's having fun. Before you guys get back to doing whatever you're doing, I'm hoping you guys can check out this math video here. We do have a new rule to do today. Before you guys get to the rule, I do want to practice. So this is not the new part. This is just the practice evaluating the expressions here. So you got 10 expressions to evaluate. Pause the video. And then, well, actually, look, I want to do number one with you real quick, and then I'm going to let you guys do the rest. So if we're looking at this one, 9 squared plus 5 squared times 2 squared, we know that exponents are always repeated multiplication. So 5 squared will be 5 times 5 times 2 times 2. We know this point is 81 plus 25 times 4. And you have to do this part. You have to do this part first because of order of operations. So you'll end up getting 100 plus 81, and you'll get 181. All right, so now pause the video and try 2 through 10. Resume it when you're ready. All right, this one you should end up getting 32. This one you should end up getting 9,000. This one you should end up getting 100 after you subtract. This one, 42 to 3 to 0, anything to the 0 power is 1. This one's kind of fun. 1 times 1 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. So that'll give you 36 when all is said and done. This one, you're going to get, let's see, on top it's division. So let's take care of the numerator first. You're going to get 12 on top, 24 on the bottom. That's equivalent there. And we know that 12 divided by 24 is just 1/2, or it's 0.5. Remember, when you evaluate, you want to get a numerical value. 1 over 10 squared. Exponents are repeated multiplication, so I'm going to take this 10 squared because I know that that unique part, that distinct part, I'm only talking about the 10 squared, that is going to be 10 times 10. Just that part. Everything else, the fraction bar, the 1 is going to stay the same. You're going to get 1 over, well, 10 times 10, which is 100. And that's your answer. Or 0.01 if you got a decimal. This one, 5 to the negative 2, we know that's 1 over 5 squared, which is 1 over 25, or 0.04. And then this one right here, exponents are repeated multiplication. So you'll get 16 over 4, which equals 4. Maybe you also noticed the product rule right there, and you just saw that it was 4 to the 1, which also equals 4. All right, so that was evaluating right there. Rewind the video if you need to see another one go over. Just ask me a question. All right, so here's the one new thing we're learning. This is all we got for the rest of the day. It is called, technically it's called the power rule. I'll write that down for you. But I like to call it the parentheses rule because we're using parentheses. And this is what it says. Well, before that, let's just do a quick review. If we have something like 7 to the 3rd power, what does that mean? How do we find that? Well, we do 7 times itself 7 times. So what if we had something like 7 to the 3rd power again, but this whole piece, we're going to square it. We're going to do that to the 2nd power. Well, if in the first one, this is kind of a little tricky, but if in this one we just did whatever's to the exponent, we do that 3 times. Whatever's to the exponent, we're going to do that, in this case, 2 times. So we're going to have 7 to the 3rd power times 7 to the 3rd power. And if you use the product rule after that point, the product rule tells us to add exponents. So we're taking this just one more step, and you're going to get 7 to the 6th. And now here's the clue. Can you think of it yourself before I tell you? How is there an easy way to do this parentheses rule without doing 7 to the 3rd times 7 to the 3rd? Is there a shortcut? You're going to want to look here for it. Pause it if you don't want me to spoil it, but I'm going to let you know that the parentheses rule tells us we're going to multiply the exponents to get a simplified expression. So for example, if we look here, 4 to the third to the 5th power, what we're going to do, instead of this rule, we're not going to add like we do the product rule. We're not going to subtract like we do when we're dividing. What we're going to do for this rule is multiply these two numbers. So we're going to get 4 to the 3 times 5. 3 times 5 is 15. So our answer is 4 to the 15th. This one here, just see how we have an exponent and another exponent? We're going to use the parentheses rule or the power rule. And you're going to get whatever 7 to whatever 2 times negative 4 is, and that's negative 8. And now if we're simplifying, you should almost just be telling yourself right now, hey, I got to get a positive exponent, so I'm going to bring that 7 to the 8th to the bottom. And that would be my final answer. All right? All right, so, I mean, really just the key idea is that you got to know that if you have parentheses, you're really multiplying the exponent, just like we did in these two examples, 1 and 2 there. So go ahead, try 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2 on the bottom there. These are a little tricky, so be sure to listen to my explanation if you're not getting these correct. So pause the video and resume it when you're ready to see the answers. You're going to have one positive exponent. So for this one, we have parentheses, so we have negative 3 and negative 2, so we're just going to multiply those. Negative 3 times negative 2 is going to make a positive 6, and that's our simplified version. All right, 7 to the negative 2 to the 1 power. Well, you're going to do negative 2 times 1, which is just, so you're going to do this number times this number because they're both in the exponent location. They're both upstairs. So you're going to do 7 to the negative 2. And then you know that 7 to the negative 2 is really just 1 over 7 squared. Simplifying, right? We're not going to get a final value necessarily. All right, number 3, no parentheses. This is a review from yesterday. So we're going to have to do quotient rule. So that means we subtract. We're going to subtract this number. So negative 7 minus whatever this number is. So negative 3. And so you're going to get negative 7 minus negative 3. That's going to be 8 to the negative 4th, because that will become one big plus. And we know that that is really the same as this, 1 over 8 to the 4th. All right. This one here, this one's kind of fun. We can see that this is just going to be 5 to the 3rd. If we do parentheses first, let's just take care of the power rule right here. So we have 2 exponents, so we know that's going to make 5 to the 8th. And you just keep that 5 to the 3rd right here, just out in front. So now you can do the product rule to finish it off. You should get 5 to the 11th. So we just did the parentheses rule first there, and then we were good to go. Number 5. Number 5 is a little tricky. We have parentheses. So really, we're going to have to use this parentheses rule, but there's no number there. Remember, there's a 1 there if it's not there. It's implied. It's like the hidden math. So this is going to be 3 to the 1 times 4. 1 times 4, because we have 2 exponents. That'll be 3 to the 4th. Times 3 to the 1 times 2, which is 3 squared. And if you look at it, things never really changed even though we put the 1 in front of the exponent. So the parentheses really didn't even have to be there, if you think about it. I mean, if you look back at it, we're going to get, we got 3 to the 4th times 3 squared equals 3 to the 6th. But I mean, if you took away the parentheses, couldn't you guys handle that just the same? So essentially, that didn't change anything. But nonetheless, you can add the 1 there, and that will help you out using the parentheses rule. And finally, same idea here. We have 1/2 to the 5th times 1/2 to the 4th. Now, this is confusing because it's a fraction. Just look at something like this. 2 to the 5th times 2 to the 4th. You guys could do that in a heartbeat, right? If you simplified that, what would it be? It'd be 2 to the 9th. So here, our common base is 1/2. Ugh. Uggy ugh. So bad at this. 1 to the 1/2 to the 9th. And that'd be your answer. You could include parentheses if you wanted. Either one. Both are good. All right, so those are definitely a little tricky. I definitely threw some hard ones in, but if you can get that rule down, you'll be good. All right, so this is kind of like a challenge section. So if you haven't done this yet, pause the video, but if you have done it, we're trying to find that value of n that's going to like agree with the rule of parentheses. So if you look over here on the left-hand side, it's an equal sign, so both the left and the right side have to be the same. They have to hold the same value. So we know that this will be 3 to the 10th. And over here we have 3 squared to the n. And we know that we need to get a 10, basically, on the right-hand side, because there's a 10 right here. And the only way we're going to be able to do that is we're going to have to make n some number. And we know that there's a 2 in an n. And using the parentheses rule, we know that we're going to have to multiply 2 times n. And we want that to be the number that's over there. So the number that will work for that will be 5. Because when you plug in 5, well, using your parentheses rule, that is going to give you the same thing on the left-hand side. All right, number 2. You can pause it if you want another crack at this. But here, if I'm looking at it, the right side, I know I'm going to do what I can simplify first. So this is going to be 6 to the 12th. And then over here, I'm left with 6 to the n times 6 to the 5th. And I'm going to be using the product rule over here. So these exponents are going to be added together. And I want it to make 12. So n is going to be 7. All right, that's all I got for today. Try that assignment. If you need help, you can join our Google Meet at 9 a.m. to 10, or just email me and I can set up another time. All right, have a great rest of your day, you guys. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.